Okay, so I knew at the back of the napkin it was 283 plus 150,000 got me to 433. 433 minus closing costs and etc. at a 575 ARV to 599 ARV. The math worked out, and I knew I was ready to lock in.
I'll make the money like magic.
So how do you lock in? How do you get from vision, right? I was ready to lock in. What did I do? So in this case scenario, the agent, so it was an off-market deal from a potential agent that I knew very well. And so I called right away, texted, and I said, hey, good morning. I'm interested in this offer. And I then had the agent, which is very common, write the offer. And so with the offer, I agreed to pay the agent a small commission, and the other side was paying the agent another piece of commission. So it worked out really well. How do you write the offers? The agent writes the offer for you in the scenario where there's agent representation. If I were to write the offer myself, I will go and generate a standard form, which we have, purchase sale agreement, PSAs, or a standard offer to purchase, and I would use that document to acquire the real estate. So thinking about it a little bit further, how do you write an offer? The first thing to do if you've never written an offer is read an offer. What is in the offer? What do the things mean? And after you read the offer, you should know all of the 10 questions you have as to what are contingencies? What are contingencies? What do they mean? How do they impact us? How do they do all of the things they do? You need to know what that means to your life and the implications it means to your transaction. So I got a deal. It's under contract. I'm ready to go to the next step. How do we do that? Let me tell you what I did, and then I'm going to tell you what you do. And so the reason I'm going to tell you the difference is that in the scenario I'm in, always use OPM. And OPM doesn't necessarily need to mean hard money or private money. It means other people's money, whatever that means to you. And so everybody needs to know that you have a grandma, a brother, a sister, an aunt, an uncle that qualifies under OPM. And you also have lending services like the Hard Money Co., who provides a full 500 plus loan transactions to other real estate investors. So you've got a lot of options. Your options are in front of you. Figure out the best option for you, but don't lose sight of the prize that you want to make the $100,000, $100,000. I was going to be closing on this transaction. I decided to use OPM. In this case, I used a credit facility from one of our other assets. If I were you, I would submit a loan application to the Hard Money Co. within 1 second of receiving the accepted offer. I would spend time on the application. I would understand what my scope of work is, and I would understand my cost that I'm going to need to make the $100,000. If you're in a deal where they say you have to put no money in and you can make $100,000, red flag should go up. There is very few opportunities in the world where you can do something for nothing. You're going to have to come with some skin in the game. You're going to have to be prepared. If you don't know how to get skin in the game, if you don't know how to hustle to find the money, if you don't know where to go to get OPM, the money's out there. You have to have a compelling story to get to the finish line, and that is on you. I can't help you with that. You have to know how to solve your problems. Winners win. It's that simple. So what happens? I'm preparing for closing. I know that title has to get ordered, which we'll talk about. I know that I have to get my finances in order to be able to close on the transaction. I know that I have to be ready to start work the day I close because time equals money. It's such a simple math. So I'm going to the 10 days. I got 10 days to close. Title's ordered. Title gets delivered back to me. Yay. What's title, right? Well, title is what you're buying. What you're buying is actually what is provided to you in the title documents. So it will tell you the conveyance, which means how are you going to become the owner. It will tell you what other exceptions are precluding you from being an unencumbered owner, right? So there might be an easement from the city of Shorewood to put a sidewalk in, and that area of sidewalk is not yours, Mr. Homeowner. It'll say that in the title. It'll tell you that the utility company has a pipe running under your house, and you don't own that. It'll read every single thing that is for you and against you. but you should also know the good and the bad. So when I look at title, when I'm reading title, I'm looking at, is there a mortgage being paid off? Are there any liens on the property? Are the taxes accurate? You can pull the taxes like they pull the taxes. Am I getting to the right point with taxes? All of that is available for you to read. Yet 95% of the people I know don't read it. Why? Because people are lazy. Open up the document and read it. And when it starts to look like Greek, raise your hand and call the title company and say, can you please explain this to me? And they will be more than happy to share that information with you. Okay? How are you being conveyed a property? There are so many methods for conveyance, and the implications are massive to you, the investor. So there's a warranty deed, which means that the person that's selling it to you warranties the deed. There's a special warranty deed, which means it's a warranty deed, but there's some specialness to it that only protects from time A to time B. There's a quick claim deed, which means you're getting the deed with no warranties, no reps and warranties related to the deed and the previous deed. And there's a lot of other conveyance methods. So be mindful of what's in that document. I strongly encourage you to read it. It is not fun. I promise you, it is not a fun piece of the puzzle. It doesn't hurt you, meaning it's not physically going to make you in pain, but it is not like this fun document. You're going to be like, oh, that was great. So you get title. You need to then get a closing statement. The closing statement and title need to match the agreements that you put together in your offer. And then subsequently, you have to get to the closing day. What happens on closing day? So I always say, and I always believe, I made the $100,000. I made the $100,000 the day I bought the property. I get to touch the $100,000 the day I sell the property. Does that make sense? You make your money on the buy. You do not make your money on the sell. You make your money when you buy the house. You have the money accessible to you through the home that you're going to eventually convey to someone else to make the profit, to recognize the profit. But if I were to buy the house for less than I already paid, I'm making more money. Opposite numbers work each direction. So getting to the closing is very important. And then when you're at the closing, making sure that all of the documents are in order for you to close. Know what they mean. Work with people that are transparent. Work ahead of them. And the only way you get ahead of them is by knowing what to expect. And then during the 10 days while you're getting prepared, you want to have the ability to go in and out of the house so that you can be prepared for the construction phase. So I use those 10 days to get my contractor through the property again. We look at any special order items that we're going to do. We create a plan, a business plan right there. We spend time evaluating how we're going to execute on the business plan and what's the time frame to do that. So that could be 3 months, that could be 6 months, that could be 12 months. Yeah, the fun part is if you have 3 or 4 of these going, when all of them come together, you're cashing checks every couple months through flipping houses. To recap, during the 10 days that you're using it, you're submitting for your financing. Make sure you submit a detailed application. Make sure that you have all of your affairs in order, your financials, your offer to purchase, all the documents you need. The better a completed application that we receive on a percentage basis, the percentage of closing goes up almost 50%. Almost. So a property that's under contract with a good borrower who is qualified, right, makes an application process super easy for us to get from start to finish in 10 days. And 10 days is what you need to do to be competitive with the people that are using cash to go and buy these properties. I want to close. I have a problem, and I'm going to solve their problem. And that is how you make this work. 10 days to close is super fast, and it makes a big difference when you're buying houses. So as we look at the 10 days, the 10-day period from the time you go under contract is your time. You need to use it wisely. If someone's not calling you back, if your contractor's not being responsive, if you can't get into the property because the agent's not giving you the lockbox, if you don't have a way to get into the property because of some other reason, that becomes your problem. If you're sleeping at the wheel or if you're allowing their excuses to become your problems, that's on you. But do not sleep at the wheel and do not let their problems become your problems to execute on your business plan. Time equals money. A mess to an investor is opportunity to an investor. What am I dealing with and how do I get to the finish line? So you have to go from point A to point B, and you have to, in between there, you have to make sure that somebody shows up to ring the bell at point B.